Hello ladies and gentlemen, it is great to see all of you again in this video. In this video, I'll be guiding you on the basics of support and resistance. If you are a beginner, don't worry. You can head to my channel to watch the beginner's video first, then after that you can watch this video. Since this video will be more towards for beginners, I will not jump into too much into confluence trading or adding other strategies or other factors into our support and resistance first. So please focus and listen. I'll try to make everything as simple as possible so that it is easy to absorb and also to learn up support and resistance. So let's start today's support resistance beginners video. Firstly, let me explain what is support and resistance. There's a lot of students asking me what is support and resistance, and I will explain it in the simplest way. So let's focus on the screen right here. Imagine you have a ceiling. Just imagine this is a ceiling. This is a ceiling, and imagine that you throw a ball up at the ceiling. So what happens? The ball comes back down. So if I use an arrow, if the ball gets thrown up at the ceiling and it rejects down, so that is what we call resistance. Because the ball is facing a resistance, that's why it stopped going up. Next up, I'll explain support. So let me draw a rectangle. Imagine this support is the floor. It's the floor that you are standing on right now while watching my video. That is the floor. Imagine the ball is thrown from up to down. So right now, if you imagine or you take a ball beside you and throw it on the floor, what happens? It bounces back up. So that means the ball is getting supported and prevented from going to the downside. So this is what we call support. We will be looking at some real examples right now. So we can see price went up over here. If you don't understand price, don't worry. Let me change it to another example. Just imagine if the ball is thrown up at the ceiling. This move right here, imagine it's the ball movement thrown up at the ceiling and it gets rebounded back down. It gets thrown back down from this point. So this point, we can use a rectangle and identify this point as a resistance. So this will be a real life example, a price example. So what about support? Very simple. It's just the opposite of resistance. As you can see, we have a down move of price over here. So imagine this as a price movement or a ball movement. So you can see ball is getting thrown down at the floor and it gets rebounded back up. So this is a point where the ball gets supported and it did not manage to go towards the downside. So we can take a rectangle and identify this zone as a support. I get traders asking me, so is it that simple? Is trading that simple? Just buying at the support and selling at resistance? No. It is no such thing that every single support and resistance will be respected. So I'll show you a few examples on those support and resistance that failed. So let's take this point for example. We get a ball thrown up at the ceiling and it rejected down. So this point is now a resistance. So if we proceed to draw a resistance over here, and now price comes back up and revisit this resistance again, then traders will start selling and selling, using all of their money to sell at this resistance. But look what happened. Price broke through that resistance and hit your stop loss and making you lose money. So it does not mean that every single resistance will get respected. Now let's look at the failed support. So as you can see here, ball is thrown from this point to this point and it rebounded. So there will be beginners traders that will just simply buy from this point when price comes back to revisit this support over here. And look what happened. It broke through, touch your stop loss, and it made you lose money. So you cannot just use support resistance and trade based on it. You have to add on other confluences. Don't worry, in the future videos, I'll teach you how to add on more confluences into support and resistance and make it a higher probability trade. I have students asking me, so how should I draw the support or resistance? Should we draw it in lines or should they draw it in my way, which is what I do? I draw rectangular zones. So let me show you how I draw support resistance. As you can see this point over here, from what I do, I will draw from the body to the wick. Then I'll extend it. So this is how I draw support or resistance. Same for the support over here. I will start from the body to the wick. This is how I draw support or resistance in zones, rectangular zones. You might ask me now, why are there some of the traders they draw support and resistance using lines? Yes, of course you can draw lines. Let me show you over here. If I proceed to remove these zones that I have drawn, and if I start drawing lines, some traders they draw it at the body. So this over here, as you can see from this resistance, the candle closed outside of this resistance. So what does that mean? We will have beginner traders who thinks that it will break out higher and proceed to a higher price. So traders will start placing buy position, but turns out it was a fake breakout. Same for this support over here. Look at this candle. This candle closed outside of this support line, and there will be traders thinking that it could push down lower, but what happened? It was a fake breakout. But if you use my method, which is drawing rectangular zones, let me just show you over here. If I draw it like this, and if I draw it the support, you can clearly see that the candle actually did not close outside of this rectangular zone, and over here it did not close outside of the rectangular zone. So there was no breakout at all and prevent this losing trade. The next reason now why I use rectangular zones instead of lines is because, as you can see, if we draw zones, it is easier to notice if price comes back into the zone. But if you use lines, let me just remove this rectangular zone and I will draw a line. And some traders, what if they place it at the bottom wick? You can see that this candlestick actually did not touch the support, therefore no potential entry. And if I put it over here, you can see it is not so easy to notice as there's a lot of wicks in this zone. So what if I use a rectangular zone? If I draw a rectangular, you can see that this candlestick, this wick actually touched this, therefore giving us a chance to enter over here and potential buy trade to the upside. So this is why I would recommend drawing rectangular zones instead of drawing lines. However, there are some things that you need to note. Remember that the things I teach here, of course, they are not 100% winning rate. If it is 100% winning rate, I would be a multi-billionaire. As you can see over here, we have this price down and it rejected to the upside. So this will be a support. So I will draw a rectangular from the body to the wick. Then I proceed to extend it. As you can see, the candle closed outside of the rectangular zone I've drawn, and probably it could push down lower. But turns out it was a fake breakout. So this is why you need to add more confluences to your trading. So let me just talk a little simple. We can see that it's an uptrend. So it is actually dangerous to take a sell. If you are a trend following trader, you wouldn't have loss over here because you will only be searching for buy trade. Even though this fake breakout could make you sell, but because you are a trend following trader, you wouldn't take the sell over here, therefore avoiding this potential loss. Now let me teach you something new on how to filter out good support resistance and bad support resistance. So I'll proceed to draw two examples over here. This is first setup A, and we have setup B. So which one would be a better resistance in this case? The answer is setup B. It is because there is more touches. For example, you are getting sued by someone and you need a lawyer to help you. Would you choose a lawyer that has one winning suitcase, or would you choose a lawyer that has two winning suitcases? The answer is very obvious. You are going to take the better lawyer. So in this case, it is the same. You will choose setup B because it has been proven twice. This setup A resistance has only been proven once, so it is not so reliable. When we are trading support and resistance, it is always better to choose the support or resistance that has the most touches. Therefore, it is proven. Let's look at some live examples right now. As you can see over here, we have this resistance. First touch, two touch. So I'll proceed to draw a resistance from the body to the wick. As you can see, we have a very good rejection. Actually, if you notice over here, we have 3 touches on this resistance. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. Therefore, it's proven 3 times. So when price came up over here again, as you can see, if I zoom in, there is no candle closing out of the rectangular zone. So therefore, you could take a sell trade and look what happened. But if you choose a resistance that has not been proven more than once, if I choose this, can you see what happened? So it has only been proven once. Price came up, rejected from here one time, and look, imagine you are selling over here. Look what happened. Price broke through it easily without rejecting from it. So this is why you should choose a better resistance by identifying one resistance that has more touches instead of a resistance that has only 1 touch. Let's proceed to look at examples of choosing a good support. We will be looking at the support example right now. As you can see, this zone over here, it has rejected many times. Can you see this? First time, 2 touch, 3 touch. So if I proceed to extend this, look at how price perfectly reject from this 3 touch support. So we have a rejection to the upside. What if I choose this support over here that has only 1 touch? So only 1 touch, only proven once, and I proceed to extend it to over here. Can you see what happened? Price pierced through this support without stopping. So it's very obvious. It is always better to choose a support or resistance that has more touches, that has been proven many times. Thank you everyone for watching till the end, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye.